If you ever meet that she-devil, run away with your life. Consider yourself warned. If you know what's good for you, I'm saying run away with your pretty little heart. Because I tell you, there was a point in time when I thought I was going to have a great thing with her, but then it didn't work out. You see, if you still want your heart, you're going to stay away from her. If you ever meet that she-devil, if you ever meet that she-devil, I mean, unless you want to have your heart plugged out from right underneath you right that instant. I know a lot of y'all still believe in love at first sight, but then you literally gonna know that 3 days down the line, when she says she was only with her bestie, you're gonna know that it was more like heartbreak at first sight. I know this might be a new theory and a new thesis for you, but then I'm telling you, take some time, sit down, digest it, and you see that I was right. I mean, I'm telling you, these things did not start with us. I mean, it started back in the day in the Garden of Eden. Because I tell you, I was hit by the same truck that hit Adam. Only that this time the driver wasn't Eve. It was some other nasty slave queen. But then I tell you, if you ever meet that she-devil, if you know what's good for you, run away with your pretty little heart. Otherwise, these women, they leave you heartless. Otherwise, these women, they leave you harmless. I mean, go ask Adam. He was chased out of his own Garden of Eden simply because a woman was involved. I mean, it did not start with them. I don't blame them either. Because, I mean, the fairy godmother of their species was the person who was flirting with the devil. And then you think you could ever trust such a person. The first human being to talk to the devil was Eve, was a lady. Need I remind you that these people actually bleed every month, but then they don't die. And you think they are the most people to trust? If you ever meet that she-devil, run away with your pretty little heart and your pretty little life. If you ever meet that she-devil, if you know what's good for you, run away. Because I mean, the only women that are important that I've met in my life are my mother and a daughter. But the rest of them, they nasty. I mean, forgive me for the nasty background, but then like I said, I'm not even trying to impress no slave queen. Because last I checked, the last time I trusted and loved and tried to impress a slave queen, I found her trying to lift a huge ass motherfucker's tummy just so she could find his manhood. But then I asked her, literally, you're the one doing all the work, you had to get on top. Is this why you left me for? But then if you ever meet that she-devil, run away with a little heart before she meets them guys with them Subarus. Or did I remind you about them guys driving out Teslas and shit? I mean, those guys are nasty. I mean, yes, she's gonna tell you that she's gonna have a bestie, and then that's when she takes sideways. If you ever meet the she-devil, run away with a pretty little heart. Because once that nigga comes, that hits it right, that touches the places, and even goes down on her, something that you can do, then you're gonna know that ladies compare. And then when they compare, they find out that whoever was the leader, whoever came out first, is the one hitting it right and is the one who's gonna keep on getting it. If you ever meet that she-devil, if you know what's good for you, you need to run. Brother, consider yourself warned. I'm telling you this. These people are not to be trusted. If you ever meet that she-devil, you need to escape. If you ever meet a she-devil. I mean, I know most of y'all already know that the only lady, the only wife, and the only woman that has ever been loyal to us every time that we need it and always picks our calls when we answer is alcohol. I'm not saying you should go and be a drunkard, but I'm just saying that if you ever meet that she-devil, make sure that you take your plane out of a radar. Because if you ever meet that she-devil, I'm not sure there will be a you to talk about tomorrow. Because I'm telling you, a lot of men have been killed over women. I'm sure you can go ask my brother Uriah. And trust me, there won't even be no David. It will just be some ugly ass motherfucking you just blesser driving around with the bands. And then he's going to take your wife. And then you're going to realize that what happened to Uriah is not only unique to the Bible, but can happen today. Because if you ever meet that she-devil, you need to run away with your life. Consider yourself warned. Stay walk on them streets. If you ever meet the she-devil.